Hey everyone, and welcome to another Power Rangers related video. This one kind of slipped under my radar. Now this is talking about Eric Frank, who was originally going to be the Gold Ranger in Power Rangers Zeo. Now, if you don't remember, back in the day, if you were a little bit younger, back in the old days, if you're in my age group, when Power Rangers Zeo was airing, there was a lot of red herrings who the Gold Ranger might be. I think Skull was one of them, Billy was one of them, Eric Frank was one of them, like JDF's brother, Jason David Frank's brother, which is Eric Frank, he was one of the red herrings. There was a lot of red herrings to throw people off with who might the Gold Ranger be, and eventually it was Jason later down the line. But this article says that Jason David Frank's brother, Eric, was originally meant to be the Gold Ranger. And it's a really interesting article, and I thought I'd share it with you guys, read it out online. You can listen, you can give me your own opinion, what you think of the article, because it's some very important behind the scenes stuff that I had no idea that this happened or what was going on. And it's a good look what happened behind the scenes with Saban and in Power Rangers back in the day. And JDF approved of this, he shared it on his Instagram, and it's an exclusive by Illuminati. I've never heard of these guys, Illuminati, but looks like they've got another exclusive up here that I might have to look at later down the line in a future video. So let's read this article. Many don't know, but Jason David Frank's brother, Eric Frank, got his start on Power Rangers behind the camera. Fans remember, okay, a little spelling over there. Fans remember Eric as Tommy's long-lost brother, Danny Trueheart, during Power Rangers Zeo. These scenes for David's character actually took place in Mighty Morphin Alien Ranger when Tommy went on his Zeo quest and was given an arrowhead by his spirit guide. This would later be paid off in Power Rangers Zeo when his real-life brother Eric got the chance to join his brother Jason on the show. And then here's a photo of Eric Frank, humble beginnings on Power Rangers, and he's been a grip guy. It says he worked as a grip down here. Good old grippies. They do a lot of work, they do a lot of the heavy lifting. So Eric worked as a grip behind the scenes with Dennis Bishop, who at the time worked as the show as a gaffer. I think the gaffer was also the heavy lifting guy. I'll have to look that up. It's been a while since I worked in TV broadcast doing the heavy lifting stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a while since I've done all that stuff in film and TV. Maybe they'll remind me what a gaffer is. Or I'm a terrible student for forgetting, who knows. See, my brother worked on set. Did you see that picture of him working behind the scenes with the grip tape and all of that? I got him that job working behind the scenes. He worked with Dennis Bishop as a grip, and we got him a job there behind the scenes. Okay, that's a quote from JDF, which is really cool. Douglas Sloan wanted Frank to be in a larger role. Okay, so this is a script for that episode of Power Rangers Zeo where Tommy goes on the quest. Okay, let's keep reading. Eric would pay his dues behind the camera, which would ultimately lead to Douglas Sloan taking notice of Frank's brother. During those days, Douglas was an acting coach for the actors, as well as a supervising producer and writer for Power Rangers Zeo. Douglas wanted to give Eric Frank a shot. Here's what the actors recollects. So Doug was like, man, would it be great? And I was like, yeah, I can bring my brother. He said, it'd be perfect. Let's get him in there. Let's do some episodes and see what happens. David Trueheart was going to be the Gold Ranger. Okay, so this is where we get to the juicy part of this article. After David Trueheart debated, Sloan wanted the character to do more and pushed for a larger role for Eric Frank. During the time at Power Rangers Zeo, they used a lot of red herrings for the Gold Ranger. This is what I brought up. They actually had red herrings for the White Ranger as well back in the day, which, yeah, I guess we can get into for another day with who they planned on being the White Ranger back in the day. Really building up to the mystery of the character. Famously, Brad Hawkins, fresh off VR Troopers. VR Troopers. I forgot that existed, and then I watched the JonTron episode back in the day. Brad Hawkins, fresh off VR Troopers, voiced a character and had many speculating that his character, Ryan Steele, was meant to be the Gold Ranger. Billy was also used as a misdirection for the Gold Ranger's identity at other times. I remember that. From what Jason records, David Trueheart's character was a circumnation I need a sip of my drink. I'm messing up. Was set to lead him actually to become the Gold Ranger, but under only one circumstance. Here's what Frank had to say on the matter. Okay, this is a quote from JDF, so this is going to be interesting. I mean, it was originally, hey, let's get your brother, see how he does. It was leading up to the Gold Ranger, and he had noticed, but you would see the stories of why it was Brad Hawkins. Brad Hawkins was the voice, and the next thing you know, they got Austin St. John to do it. I think it was more that Austin didn't take, I think it was more that Austin didn't take the role. It was more like, let's put him there and see what happens if Austin turns down the role. Okay. That makes sense. Like, let's put all these actors in there, see how they go, and if Austin turns down the role, we'll see what happens. And Austin St. John has a really good video on the Fanwood channel where he talks about his return of the Gold Ranger. Now, he doesn't go into this. He just goes behind the scenes what happened to Austin, like himself. But it's still a very good video. I'll put a little link or a little card to go check it out, because that's a really good video that Austin talked about on Fanwood. I might have another look at it as I'm editing this video. Okay. Austin St. John would go on to become the Gold Ranger, and he did a great job. But it's fascinating to think about what would happen if David Trueheart became the Gold Ranger. When Rocky left in the Turbo movie, would David have become the Blue Ranger? That'd be really interesting if David did become the Blue Ranger. Would Tommy have passed the torch to his brother instead of TJ in Power Rangers Turbo? There are many left interesting if that's the idea. Okay, that would be interesting. That'd be an interesting passing the torch. Okay, there's another page. Why it didn't work out on Power Rangers for Eric Frank. Coming from behind the scenes to in front of the camera can be quite a change. Yeah, I've even done that. I worked as a camera operator. We're going into my life for a brief second. I worked as a camera operator for a volunteer show at my TAFE at my college called Sweet and Sour. And I was behind the camera for a lot of episodes, for about maybe 50 or so episodes. I did a fair bit of episodes. I was there every Monday. I would do double episodes. I would do episodes every Monday night from 2013 to 2015. Early on 2016, I did a lot of episodes here and there on that show, and there would be times where we'd have cast and crew on the show, which you can probably find those episodes if they didn't take them off the YouTube channel. There would be times where I did those episodes, and if you look at my body language and how fast I'm talking and how I'm trying to look at the right camera, I'm not the best on camera. I'm good behind the camera sometimes. I'm sometimes good behind the camera. But in front of the camera, I'm a nervous wreck. I don't know what to say. I was mostly like cracking jokes that didn't land that well and stuff like that. I want to react to it, but I don't know if I should react to it, because there'd be people who'd be on my YouTube channel that I don't know if they'd want to be on here. Yeah, so, okay. Where was I? Coming from behind, okay, especially if you're not used to the process and the paces Power Rangers was putting the actors through. It seemed the case for Eric, and here's what the actor recalls. Unfortunately, the 5th episode of however many episodes he was in, my brother was kind of like, I don't want to work with a company like that. It had nothing to do with acting or character. Saban had a hardcore company to work for, and as you can hear from all the other actors, and when you're not used to it and you want changes, that's not going to happen, especially as a new character. You can't use any kind of power trip on Saban, and because you will disappear and get replaced. There's been a lot of stories like that, where the lady who plays Maya in Lost Galaxy, from what I've heard, she was the second Ranger in Power Ranger Lost Galaxy, because there was someone else who was meant to be the original Lost Galaxy Ranger, but apparently something happened behind the scenes. We don't know. The actress who plays Maya has never really came out and said what happened, because she doesn't know. But she says she was replaced like second episode into filming because, I don't know, something happened with this actress. There was maybe a money dispute, a power trip. No one really knows. So where were we? And I think he just got to the point where it was very hard for him. It wasn't necessarily hard. They were just about talking about giving him more episodes, and he wanted to make sure it was a job he could handle. Because my brother was tough, he had charisma. It would be funny when he hit a mark and he just turned into, "Tommy, is that you?" And I'd be like, "Cut, what's wrong, man?" And he'd say, "This is a lot harder." And I said, "No, you're a big tough guy." He said, "Let's do it again." So time and time he had an actor's voice that was discovering it wasn't natural on set with 100 people. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, I think this is more of a quote from JDF. Remember he used to be a grip, so that side of watching the whole time, he's now on the side watching the grip, so I think it kind of tripped him up a bit. He was great though, he loved it, and he was supposed to be primed for it, but when something happened, there was dubbing. I think it was in a surf episode. I have to listen carefully. I'm sure you guys can listen more carefully because I haven't gone back. But there's a line that he said that wasn't his voice, and he didn't understand that. Like, okay. Like, how come they're looping my voice when they could have easily looped it? That's where the problems came out. They used to do that kind of loop for your voice lines, and I think it was coming out of the water. There's one line where I think Scott Page did, and Eric was kind of like, "What's that all about? Hey dude, welcome to Power Rangers. If you're unavailable and they need something, they'll get it done." Okay, that's really interesting with JDS saying, hey, if they can't get it done, they'll just reuse different people's lines or loop them together. Okay, that's kind of what it turned. That's where it kind of turned into, "I'm not sure if I want to be with these guys" kind of thing. Okay, that's really interesting that Jason David Frank's brother was eerie about the whole Saban behind the scenes thing while working with him, which is really interesting, like how they were probably treating their actors and what happened behind the scenes. I would love to learn more about the whole Saban behind the scenes, because you hear stories and jokes of what happened, but I would love to be like a fly in the wall back in those days to actually know what actually happened with working on Saban and stuff like that, because no, I don't know if it was the producers or the directors or Haim Saban himself, but I don't know, these behind the scenes stuff were really interesting with how Saban runs stuff for so many years, and I don't know if they got better back in the day moving forward from like Mighty Morphin to Time Force / Wild Force, but I would love to know what happened back in the day in the ye old days for Saban. Okay, last bit of the article. Okay. Sadly, Eric Frank sadly passed away on April 16, 2001. His brother, Jason David Frank, carries his legacy on as some of his memories. We hope that Power Rangers fans around the world could learn a little bit more about Eric and the legacy he left on the show. Okay, that was a nice article. That was a really nice article about Jason David Frank's brother and how he was originally meant to be the Gold Ranger for Power Rangers Zeo. So, if you want the Cliff Notes, he was going to be a main cast if Austin didn't say yes, but he was learning how to be an actor, and being an actor didn't really turn out for him. I guess it really wasn't his thing, which a lot of people do say. Like, he preferred behind the scenes and being on camera from what it sounds like. I need another drink of my drink. So it... Sorry. So it sounds like that he really preferred being behind the scenes than on the scenes in front of the camera, so... This was a really interesting article learning behind the scenes back in the day, and the whole mystery of the Gold Ranger, if you go back and watch that arc, which I might do, I might actually go back and watch the Gold Ranger arc, because seeing how it all led up to Austin St. John becoming the Gold Ranger. Like, watching it as a kid, you're like trying to guess, but I want to actually watch it as an adult and catch on to the red herrings behind the scenes and see the seeds they were planting of what was going to happen, because I wonder if you can actually spell it out that Eric was going to be the Gold Ranger, and then they had to write around it once Austin was confirmed to come back. So I would love to go back and watch Power Rangers Zeo to see those episodes. But anyway, this was a really interesting article. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys around. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Bye.